And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
For a while, I've seemed to get an inordinate amount of invitations about pirates versus ninjas on the internet, and I know that ninjas are popular. One of my favorite webcomics is Dr. McNinja. But Ninja versus Ninja is going to capitalize on people's fascination with ninjas, at least in the comical sense, and really that's what we're looking at here. It's a very, very light game. After playing it, I I want to say that it's really not that good of a game. It's merely an okay game, but that doesn't explain why I've played it like 15 times at this point. Maybe it's just because I just keep trying to beat someone in the game. Let's look at the game board. Ninja vs. Ninja is a two-player game, and as you can see here, here's the board with the initial setup. You have a bunch of red ninjas versus a bunch of black ninjas, and you can see the ninjas here with the artwork by John Kovalik, and they're cartoony with bent swords because their swords seem to keep bending, but they're plastic figures, and each side has 6 of them set up in this wedge pattern, and then players have 2 other ninja pieces on the side, one to mark their score, and another on the shadow track. The game also comes with these 2 dice, they're 4-sided dice, and these are a pretty neat gimmick in the sense that they're dice with a sword through them, and it's just a neat thing to roll. They don't roll as well as maybe a regular 4-sided die does, but they're good enough for the purposes of this game. Alright, let's take a look at how the game is played here. On a player's turn, they simply roll the dice. For example, here, I add these together, and I got 5. Because they're 4-sided dice, you will roll a total of between 2 and 8. When you move one of your ninjas, let's say I'm moving this ninja here, you can move them 5. You must move them 5 spaces exactly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Although you are allowed to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1 L turn in the course of your move. And in fact, let's say the ninja was here and I move 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. I could turn him around and come back for 5. So what's the point of the game really here? While moving your ninjas, you're trying to get into enemy territory. So let's say here the red ninja, on this turn I roll a 5 and he started here. So he goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He is now on a mission. Mission takes place over 3 turns. What he just moved was the first turn. He's made it 2 spaces far into enemy territory. So the Shadow Ninja here is moved up 2 spaces to show how far the red person has penetrated into the enemy territory. We now turn him sideways just to show that he's on turn 1 of a mission. On turn 2 of a mission, let's say 3, he could either go farther back or head back to home. It doesn't really matter. So let's say he's really going to try and push it here. So he goes 1, 2, 3. He would now turn and face home. The Shadow Ninja moves to 4 now because that's how far he's made it enemy territory. And the next turn, he rolls a dice and he gets a 3. 1, 2, 3. He does not make it back into his home territory within 3 turns, so he dies. But let's say he had rolled a 6 or a 7. 1, 6, 7. He would have made it back on a successful mission. The Shadow Ninjas at space 4, so then his points, he would get 4 of them over here. Now it seems pretty easy to get points, but the fact is that every other turn, your opponent is going. And they're going to roll the dice, and if they can land on top of your ninja, 1, 2, 3, they've killed it, and it's removed from the board. In fact, you can kill someone anywhere at any time by moving the dice. Even the guy going on the mission, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, can kill people. And so, really what's going to happen here is ninjas are going to get killed right and left. Very often games will come down to two ninjas on one side and 1 on the other. I mean, it just gets kind of ridiculous. And in fact, one way you can win the game, which is very, very possible, is by killing all the ninjas of one of the sides. However, another way to win the game is by getting 7 points. See, when I showed you that this guy made it to the 4 track, and he's moved back once the mission is completed, the simple thing is, it's almost impossible to make it that far in and get that far back with A, making the full movement counts because you really can't count on the dice and how they're rolled, and B, not getting killed by an opponent. There are ways to do it, but you're really pushing your luck the farther you go in. So what else is there really to say about Ninja vs. Ninja? You've seen how the game plays, and that's how it works out. It's silly, it's stupid, but yet I still get entertainment out of it. I'm not going to get rid of it It's not the kind of... I don't sit around talking about the fine points of this game. You're rolling dice and trying to kill the other people's ninjas. I mean, if you get really unlucky in this game, you're going to lose. If you get really lucky, you might win. But depending on how far you push your luck, there's some strategy in it. If you move your ninjas to certain spots, you can reduce the number of rolls that your opponent has whereby they can kill your ninja. Okay, well, maybe so. But really, it's just, I hope I can get across the line and get back. It's kind of like a capture the flag game. Run across, grab the flag, run back. I got some points for my team. And that's really what it feels like. But what's really nice is games take 5-10 minutes. What does the box say? 15 minutes or so? But it's really, really quick. It's a very simple game. And so if you can tell by this video that it just seems too silly for you, well, then you're not going to like it. But if you don't mind this, if you say, hey, maybe I can get good at a game like this and just fight my opponent's ninjas, then give it a try. It all depends on your outlook.
Thanks for joining us today. For more written, audio, and video reviews, as well as the #1 board game podcast, check out the website at www.thedicetower.com. Until then, this is Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.